Hi everyone, welcome back. Hope you guys are having a great day. So this is a clip from a previously recorded video. This is a much shorter clip of it. But as always, not financial advice, for entertainment only. Do your own research. And I'm invested in closing companies. And if you enjoy this type of content, hit the like button, subscribe, helps me out tremendously. And let's get into the clip. Next story is going to be on Argo. So Argo blockchain announces April operational update. They're still at 2.5 exahash. They've been there for quite a while. But here's what we do have. So during the month of April, Argo mined 144 Bitcoin or Bitcoin equivalents. This is a decrease of 8% compared to the 5.2 in March. The decrease in BTC production is primarily driven by an 8% sequential increase in the average network hash rate, network difficulty during the month of April. We're seeing this from everybody here talking about this. The difficulty is going up, network hash rate is going up. Well, we're making less money. Well, us. As of April 30th, the company held 83 Bitcoin or Bitcoin equivalents. That's also down. So they are starting to use more of their HODL position to kind of fund operations here, which is kind of concerning. We'll take a look at that in a minute, my numbers here. And then the company's total hash rate capacity continues to be 2.5 exahash. And then in Q3, so we're still a ways away from this, the company expects to begin installation of the 2,870 block miner machines from Epic Blockchain Technologies at its Quebec facilities. These are the ASIC miners made by Intel, the chips. This represents an incremental 0.3 or 300 petahash of hash rate capacity and will increase the company's total hash rate capacity to 2.8 exahash. Okay, so that's kind of where we're standing at right now. There's nothing else really going on with them except for that. So they're basically on cruise control now until Q3 sometime when they do get these miners into that facility, which would be a good help. That's not a lot of growth there for them, but they've had a heck of a time in the past 6 to 12 months, almost went into bankruptcy. They had to sell facilities. So they're trying to get back on the right track here. This might be part of this equation, but we'll see how they can grow forward. They're obviously having miners like TeraWolf, Cypher, others as well, CleanSpark, that are, just outperforming them right now. They're doing a lot better job than they are. All right, so let's take a look at the numbers we do have for them here, and that's Argo. Let's go back over here. Argo, there we go. So Argo has about 62 million shares outstanding. Stock price is $1.41. Market cap 87 million right now. They are currently at 2.5 exahash. I have them at future hash rate 2.5. So if they do get those additional miners, we'll update that as well. You can see that their Bitcoin production has been coming down here ever since August. They peaked at 235 BTC, and ever since then it's been coming down. Had a big decrease in December, but I think a lot of the miners did a lot of curtailing in December. Then they picked back up a little bit here in January, but you can see here ever since January it's been decreasing steadily now to 144 in April. Their BTC HODL value is only 2.64% of their total market cap value. Future hash rate, we already talked about this. BTC, let's see, they mined 144, they sold 146, so they actually sold 2 more than they mined. And then BTC HODL is 83, we talked about that. You can see their monthly Bitcoin production differences here from month to month. Pretty big decrease here in December, negative 51 less. And then a nice increase in January, but then they've been decreasing here ever since then. BTC per exahash efficiency, you can see that one has been consistently going down, which is expected based on a couple of things. Well, the main thing is Bitcoin network hash rate increasing. That's generating the same kind of results for everybody, but it also, they've been curtailing quite a bit as far as putting electricity back into the grid. That has kept them at the lower end as far as efficiency is concerned. On that, and then their BTC HODL, you can see here as well, they were in May at 2.4 thousand roughly of Bitcoin HODL, and then they've been selling ever since then, and you can see that it's just getting less and less each month that we go out further. So there's having to fund operations more and more by the BTC HODL that they do have, which it is dwindling down here, which is also kind of concerning for them. Okay. And then here's you can see how much they sold as far as monthly is concerned. Hash rate revenue. Let's take a look at that really quick here. So hash rate has been pretty much stuck at 2.5 exahash ever since August. Not much growth here for them, which is not good, right? We want the miners to continue to grow. They've been stuck there almost now for a full year. We're only a couple months away from August, and they've been stuck at that 2.5 there for a while. So you're seeing that result where the BTC production is coming down because network hash rate is increasing. They're flat on their increase in hash rate, and that's the result we get. Okay, Bitcoin mining revenue is, you can see here, has peaked in April of last year of 6.2 million. Currently in April, they made about 4.1 million, it looks like. They have been increasing nicely, but that's only the benefit of Bitcoin price going up in value. Right, so that's really helping them out. But as far as you can see here, how much they've sold each month, you can see that they've been selling about 4 million a month to, I guess, fund operations, pay electricity, things like that as well. I got to take a sip of water here. Let's get into Hive here really quick before my voice completely goes out. So Hive blockchain provides April 2023 production update with 9% increase in month-over-month hash rate. So that's good there. They're actually growing. The good thing is I got to actually give them props for getting the information out relatively early this time around. Last time we were waiting till like the second or third week in the month. It was just not like them to providing these updates that late. So maybe they heard our gripes and our, kind of dismay with them over taking so long to provide these updates, and kind of giving them grief about posting all these Bitcoin pictures on Twitter instead of posting the updates. So kudos to them for actually getting this out early. This is really great. It's good to see. Okay, that's kind of what we want to see. We want to see if you're a big boy in the mining space, you should be able to provide these numbers within the first 5 to 7 days of the new month. All right, so here's what we got. Current Bitcoin HODL balance of approximately 2,284. Summary overview, Hive produced 273 Bitcoin in the month of April from ASIC and GPU mining operations, so they still have a little bit that they're running on the ASIC, on the GPU side, mining. I don't know if they're mining directly Bitcoin, but I'm guessing they're probably mining some other altcoins and getting paid in Bitcoin possibly. Okay. Good news is Hive has manufactured, tested, received, and installed the 5,750 Buzz miners at its data centers, all of which are operating today, so that's good news there. Let's see here. April 2023 production figures. So additionally, our monthly HPC income has increased 24% month over month from March to April. So that's good news there. So we'll hope, we won't see the results. Actually, January, February, March. No, we won't see those results in the Q1 financials. We'll see these results in the Q2 financials. So we'll have to wait on that. But it looks like they are actually growing that side of the business, which is good to see as well, because kind of like Cut 8 as well. Okay, and then let's see what else we have here down here. Okay, so actual production was 273 Bitcoins, 3.3 exahash of BTC hash rate as of April. This was comprised of 3.14 exahash of ASIC BTC hash rate and 0.16 exahash of GPU BTC equivalent hash rate. Okay, so that's kind of how they're figuring out. So I'm actually using the 3.14 exahash for my numbers here, and they provide averages. I don't like averages. I want to see the actual end of month results, how much they actually have plugged in. Okay, they talk about the network hash rate, and then Sweden data centers help stabilize electricity grid during the major blackout. So that was actually good. And I can't remember if it's Sweden or Norway that's going to be having a tax on the miners or something like that. If there's one way to get around it. If they were heat producers or something like that, they wouldn't have to pay the extra tax on electricity or something like that. So I can't remember if it's Sweden or Norway. Remind me in the comments down below. Okay, but nothing. They didn't comment on that at all here. So it's kind of like, nope, nothing happened. Which would be nice to see what their thoughts are on it as far as what they're going to do going forward if it does go through. But we'll see. Okay. So on April 26th, the capital of Sweden, Stockholm, was hit by a serious power outage. The consequences were great for several industries, and subway and commuter train traffic came to a standstill. Hive's data centers in northern Sweden assisted with more than 20 megawatts of on-demand response, able to power down and thus help to quickly stabilize electricity grid and help mitigate repercussions for the utility provider. So this is great. This is why a lot of the Bitcoin miners that are in like Texas and other parts of the country, here in the US, Canada, across the seas in Europe and things like that, they really do have, I think, a load balancing kind of guidance to go by, that they can actually do this relatively quickly, and they can be shut down really quickly. They can also spin up relatively quickly as well. So I think this is a great way to balance the grid of electricity, especially when there's a lot of electricity that's kind of left over that's not being used. This is a great way for that to be used, the electricity providers to get paid for it, and it's just a great, I'm trying to think of the word here, I can't think of it right now, but it's like a great ecosystem as far as how the electricity system works, is what I'm trying to say basically. Okay, so let's get into the numbers that I do have for them, and we'll see how those things all stack up. And I got to take another sip of water here. So Hive blockchain shares outstanding is about 84 million right now. Stock price is at $3.03, market cap 255 million. Okay, current hash rate is about 3 exahash roughly. Future hash rate about 3.4 is what we have them at right now. Their BTC production here has been kind of a roller coaster ride ever since late August. In September, Ethereum went to proof of stake, so that was no longer possible, and you could see that dip in their production here ever since then. all the way through December, and then December they finally started getting their production up and increasing a little bit here, which was good to see. So they ended up 273. That is still a decrease from March of 282. But we also had one less day, but that still wouldn't make up. Well, that might make up partially that on that one. Okay. BTC HODL value is about 20% of the market cap right now. Hash rate left 387. They had 273 mined Bitcoins this month, or in April. Bitcoin sold was 299, so they actually sold more than they generated. And their HODL position is 2,284. And you can see that their HODL position has been coming up here through November. December, they sold quite a bit here, and I think this was to pay for the Intel ASIC miners that they got in. So they took quite a bit of HODL position from that to pay that off. And then it's been going kind of up and down here a little bit. And it's actually been going down since January, it looks like, on this one, okay? BTC per exahash efficiency, they've been pretty on par with being one of the most efficient miners out there as far as running the most uptime. It also helps that they are mining with the GPU miners. Those also provide added BTC for it, so that kind of helps them out along the way as well. But you can see that has been coming down ever since October. And they're about 86.93. I think that's going to be kind of in line where we're seeing some of the other top performers as well. We'll see which one comes at the top when we do the monthly review of the miners and see who came in number first, second, and third place for efficiency and things like that. Okay, Bitcoin sold, you can see that they sold obviously a lot in December here. Hash rate and revenue, hash rate, okay. So they were approximately 3.7 exahash in August, and then when Ethereum went to proof of stake in September, that dropped down because all of those miners were no longer mining, basically, so they were generating less. But that did go up a little bit, came back down in December, and then they started to go back up here. They are at 3.1 right now as of April, so that's good there. Okay, mining revenues also, they were last year at 17.25 million. All right, they're only at 7. They're less than half of that of where they were last year. Some of the other miners that have been growing nicely are actually doing better than they did in April, or at least close to it, within 10-15% of from where they were in April of last year. But they have been growing here nicely here, but that is also based on Bitcoin price going up in value. Okay, then you can see here the hash rate growth month over month, and it has been pretty good here at the beginning of the year, and hopefully this continues on going forward. BTC sold value, you can see how much they've been selling here recently. So they sold quite a bit here going through the last, well, since we started tracking them in June, it looks like. They've sold quite a bit here. We'll take a look at what that is. Last 4 quarters revenue, we're seeing that has been coming down through Q3. Current quarter, looks like they're going to be up on that, so that's a good sign there. Operating costs have been coming down as well, so that's a good sign there. Other metrics, cost to mine 1 Bitcoin is kind of up and down a little bit here, up in Q3 to 13.6, but that's also kind of where we're seeing some of the other miners as well. And then BTC mined quarterly, obviously Q3 had a pretty big hit on it because of Ethereum not being mineable anymore. And then let's see, your debt to equity lower is better. That's still pretty good here at 0.34, so that's not a big deal there. And then current ratio higher is better. They're at 2.86 right now, so they can at least pay their current liabilities with their current assets 2.8 times over, which is fine. So they're not in any danger right there. Okay, institution-wise, we can see here that institutions did decrease a little bit here to 97. Shares also went down a little bit here to 13.58 million from 13.66. And percentage owned is now 16.13 compared to 16.24. We still have a strong buy rating on them, 2 buy ratings, 0 hold, 0 underperform, and 0 sells. Price target still the same, $7 for the high, $4.98 for the average, and $2.94 for the low. I have them at for the current last 3 quarters, which are 2 of them are the actual numbers. The Q1 numbers for 2023 are an estimate, and then we're using the current quarter numbers, which are I'm sure going to change depending where Bitcoin goes, how much they actually mine, and things like that. Right now, that's just an estimate. Based on that, I have them at a P of 10, $4.93. They are at 303. They are undervalued, in my opinion, and they could possibly get to $7.40. Now, as always, if Bitcoin goes up higher in value, these guys can get a much higher PE as well. That's because when Bitcoin goes up, it lifts all boats along with it. Okay. Now, as far as how much they've been selling here, so it looks like they've sold approximately, if I do the math on it, in the last, well, from June to April of this year, they sold about $93 million in Bitcoin value based on my numbers here right now. Okay, so I just wanted to point that out. As always with these miners, the only thing that they really got to do is they got to grow. It would be nice also to find out if it was, I can't remember, like I said, Norway or Sweden, whatever one jurisdiction was going to be raising rates on the miners. they could provide some information on that. What are their plans if it does happen? Are they going to be okay because they're going to be a heat producer because they do have a greenhouse next door to them? How is it all going to work out? So it would be nice to find out on that one. But other than that, it's good that they're getting miners installed. They need to continue to grow. They need to continue to do that going forward. Unfortunately, realistically, they have to do that like all the other miners do as well, especially as we get closer into the halving event. Okay? So that's it for that one. Let me know what you guys think of it down in the comments below. We'll talk about it there some more. All right.